Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all for coming back. I hope you came back, or you accidentally didn't, or you didn't accidentally click on the link and just decided to stay here. Anyway, so we're now at that phase where we're going to be inking everything. If you noticed, I'm going to be using different colors of ink. I'm going to be using the red one, the green one, the blue one, and I don't know if it's gonna show up. Yeah. They're all calligraphy ink. I think it can be easily gotten from some places. Anyway, so we're going to start off. We're going to start off with the one in the middle, the gannon in the middle. So, uh, I'm going to be using these nib pens, and they have not been used in like a long while, nor have the ink been used in a long while. So this is again going to be an interesting thing to see what's going to happen. So this is going to be a learning experience for all of us. I shook them before I started the recording, to save the time on waiting for them to, to be properly or to be suitable for use. Excellent. Okay. So, so yeah, basically it's not much, just inking. So I'm gonna be using this to remove the ink. If you notice the markings and everything, I should have prepared everything, cleaned all of the equipment and such. But who cleans everything? Anyway, so let's just see how we're gonna do this. Okay, so the best approach here is going to start off simple. Let's just see how this will turn out. Wait, this is not enough ink. It's gonna run out before I do anything, so let's just take another blow again. I should have waited a bit longer, actually. They don't look ready enough. Let's just try and see how it works out. Anyway, so, in all honesty, I prefer to do inking, traditional inking, in comparison to the digital inking. I'm more used to these kinds of inkings, actually. Okay, that's good. That's good. I expected a lot worse, but no, we still got it. If my head pops out, I have to lean in a lot closer at to the point where you might not be able to see the ink. It's kind of difficult. Yeah, it's difficult to the point where it's gonna mess up how the inking works. So if I suddenly become quiet, it's just me focusing on the inking part, because there's a form of focus when it comes to inking. You can't just willy-nilly just, ink anything and that's it. You kind of have to focus and make sure that everything's like going to the right places. There's even a way of order. I'm okay if the eyes aren't really properly aligned. I'm okay with that. And just the crown. Usually when you do inking, you have to start from the top and then work your way to the bottom, because you don't want your hand to be hitting the wet areas, or depending on how fast the ink you're using dries up. The ink that I use, which is calligraphy ink, doesn't really dry up quickly. If you're wondering what the type of nib pen I'm using, um, it's it's store bought, but I can't really tell what the name of the model is. This is a copper coated one, so it bends a lot more. If you notice, I don't know if it shows up, but I'll just see if I can just get it to. You can notice how it's like separating a lot faster. This is better used if you want like to make different lines or different thickness of lines. Just again. I'm not the type that likes to completely submerge ink into the submerge the nib head into the ink, I get very self-conscious about that. Plus, it gets a lot more difficult to clean it actually. So then, since we already did the details beforehand, we can already tell where things are going to go. So I can just simply do this. If you notice, the paper isn't really buckling as much as it was before. That's because I wrapped the paper in a towel and then placed a heavy object on the paper, which hopefully absorbed a good portion of the moisture, which I think it did really. This is just me. This part is just me accidentally not holding the paper correctly, which kind of damaged it. But oh well. Just make sure. Okay. And usually these inking processes doesn't take too long, depending on how detailed the things are that I'm drawing. Hopefully it wouldn't take me too long. I'm just checking the recordings and everything. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign that the screen of my laptop turned black. Just give me a moment. Oh no. Oh no, don't tell me. Okay, okay, we're good. We're good. I thought the worst, but nothing bad happened. I saw the screen turn off and I thought, okay, put the headset to sleep mode and I've been talking to myself for like a long while. It did not, which is good. I actually miss doing digital traditional art. I miss like this part. Like I'm okay. I don't mind like messing up with the sketches and everything, but I feel like when it comes to inking, it is my jam. It's like I get excited. It's like, oh yeah, it's time to ink because you can make an amazing sketch and everything, but it all comes down to how the inking works. If you mess up on the inking, you mess up on like how you express the characters or how you express stuff. Because when it comes to inking, you control the lines. You control how, in some shape or form, the lines feel. Or you're communicating the emotions of the line. Like, I might sound crazy, or this might sound crazy, but this is something that is true because how much pressure you put into a line affects the emotion behind what you're drawing. For example, if I put like emphasis or if I harden this part or in some places make it look light and everything, your eyes won't focus much on it. It just ignores it. But the more pressure I put on a drawing, the more it seems to pop out. And I have already messed up on the drawing, but I'm okay with that. I'm trying my best not to mess up on a lot of things, but you have to go on and make do with your mistakes. Just make sure. Anyway, I'm just gonna do this first pass, and then I'm gonna check on the details later. Just make sure, and then just add this part. I hope my head's not popping up. No, it's not. For some reason, I start to whisper when I get into these moments. It's like it's the idea of focusing. Just focus here, and then we add another line here, and another line here. Each person has their own favorite phase when it comes to drawing something. Some people like the sketching phase, some people like the inking phase, some people like the shading phase. There's no like right or wrong when it comes to these sorts of things. It all comes down to preference. What's your preferred like phase? Is it like sketching, the shading, maybe something I don't even know, like, adding the dimensions or something. I should have got with me a couple of bottles of water. It's really important. Almost spilled the entire ink. That would have ruined everything. Yeah, I think I might have lost my touch when it comes to inking. Or I'm not really used to inking like this, with this setup. And then we're just going to be careful not to touch the ink. And then just do like this. I'm pretty sure I have messed up on a lot of stuff right now, but I'm okay with it. I like how this turned out. I like how unique the poses are. Because usually these kinds of poses are somewhat difficult. When I say difficult, I mean like in how you communicate them. Because there's like a lot of emotion in them, and you kind of need to understand how each pose works, how the hips move, where the hands are. I hope the green shows up, because I plan to use green on this Ganon, red on this Ganon, and blue on this Ganon. What kind of sucks right now is that I wish I placed them a lot closer instead of making them a lot farther, but oh well. And just gonna make sure, gonna add the cape, wait, not now. What sucks about using colored inks is that it shows up if it's drying up or not. If you're using black, it doesn't show, but if you're using like blue, red, or green, it shows that you're running out of ink. And then you have to like redraw the line. And then we're gonna add the cape here. The inking phase can be messed up easily if you're not careful, like what you just see here. Like, I'm messing up on a lot of stuff, so if you're starting to learn how to draw and whatnot, take note of what I'm doing here and don't do it. Because a lot of things I'm doing is like incorrect. Yeah, see what I mean? You can see these dark and bright patches of green, which is not good if you want like consistent line. But I like to use different colors of inks. Oh, dipped it too hard there. And they're gonna add it over here. Once we're done with this Ganon, we're gonna add the details we're gonna be using later. Because I plan on using pencils to define like stuff for it. And they're gonna add another layer over here. Okay, so yeah, fortunately I used a lot of ink, so this is gonna like mess the rag up. Even it's gonna come to my hands. Nope, it didn't. Okay, so I'll just take a moment and just check on what I'm missing when it comes to details. I could just go for the simple route and just add like extra lines and that's it. Cause this is like a mistake on my part. I should have added more details during the rough sketch instead of like, going for the usual act of like, okay, that's good. We're gonna go for the next phase. I should have not done that. Oh well. And then I'll just add over here. then add over here. And then I'm just gonna pay attention. Then one over here. I don't know what this signifies, but I'm just gonna go with it. And then another one over here. And then we're gonna do one over here. I'm just creating a lot of details because I have added a lot of ink to the nib head, and I should have done that. So I'm just gonna try to create as much of details as I can, so I can just use up as much of the ink as I can. It's been a long time since I have ink, so yeah, I should try going back to inking traditionally more often. And I should really clean these flies. I don't like how dirty they are. If I were to angle the camera a bit down, you're gonna see my head, or my head's gonna clank against the clamp that's that's holding the camera. So my head's gonna stay pretty much far away. And now for the red. The red is really bright. Now it looks like pink, but I can show you it's red. I'll just take a moment to wait. Sometimes I think it's like, ah, yes, it's a fine day when my fingers get covered in ink. That's like, ah, yes, a fine inking session. My hands are covered in ink. Let's just give another good scrub because I don't want any green on this. I don't know if I'm gonna keep the background or not. Maybe I might just ditch the background and just complete this entire thing and just push them together. Just gotta be careful. The problem with the red ink is that it is bright, so it's sometimes difficult to show a good color for the red. Then like this. And gonna put the diamond here. I hope the red is picking up and not just being ignored. And then we're gonna do like this because um Ganon from Twilight Princess has a unique hairstyle. They're just gonna it's sort of like a flower, I guess, if it makes like odd sense. Cause there's like layers and it just builds up. Oh no, I might be crazy. I think out of all the Legend of Zelda, I think my favorite one is Twilight Princess. I remember a lot of it. Plus, there's full form Midna. Yep. I'm not a fan of Imp Midna. Like, okay, sure, but I sometimes don't understand the why people like Imp Midna. I mean, sure, you can like both forms or one of the forms, but in the end, you're liking a part of Midna, which is cool. It kind of sucks that, the full form Midna doesn't really get much acknowledgement. I should really practice how to ink again, but then again, I don't get much chance to practice inking. Maybe I should create some chances. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Either my AC is chanting something or something weird's going on. Okay, whatever that was. As much as I like these headsets, I don't like how I am unable to hear what's going on in the background. I know that's the point of, the point of having headsets that, emphasize, or I don't know what's the term, that it's it's a term that's used to like specify, it's like, oh, nothing in the background, you can't hear anything in the background, all you can only hear what's in the headset. As much as that sound like a good quality, I don't like it because paranoid. I get paranoid and I think like something's behind me, or something's going on and I don't know about it. Which is why like when I listen to music I make sure to put it like at low volume. I have been trying to practice drawing hands. It's like a struggle that never ends. You never really learn how to draw hands, you just learn ways to mitigate the need of drawing hands. Or you just find ways to cheat on the need for drawing hands. So far it's looking good. So when I showed you that this is a copper pen, and as I specified before, the difference between copper and I think chrome coated nib heads is the amount of lines or how thick the lines you can create. I'm not properly showcasing it, but this can create really good varied lines. Like if you really know how to ink, you could make some amazing lines. But with chrome coated ones, like let me just get it, like this one. This is chrome coated, or just I don't know if this is like showing up properly. Yeah, so this is like, let's see if I can get it to properly show. If you could just see how this is a copper coated one and this is a chrome coated one. You're asking, it's like, okay, what do you mean by chrome coated and what do you mean by copper coated? When you have nib heads, they're usually metallic, but I don't know what kind of metal they use. They cover one with copper. They're originally copper, but alongside with another metal, and then you have chrome that's also chrome, that's mainly chrome, but mixed in with another kind of metal. I know this because I did the stupid move of trying to clean them, um, not a normal way of how a normal human being would clean stuff. No, I just submerged the nib heads into Coke and Pepsi and left them for like an entire day. And that's when I learned, oh, they are truly indeed coated, because when I removed them, it turns out that they are nickel based. Um, I don't know if that's like the scientific name for that kind of metal, but yeah, it turns out that yeah, they are nickel based. These are nickel based nib heads, and if you submerge them into a if you submerge them long enough inside an acidic based solution, you can actually remove the coating. So I don't recommend that, and just just wash them with normal water and just rinse them off until you can't see the ink. You know, simple things, simple things to keep to go by. Let me just get the details for this guy. And as much as I was really excited for how these turned out okay, I guess. I'll just make sure. I guess we'll go with the same logic as this guy. We're just gonna go add some fancy lines and that's all. I was kind of excited that there's gonna be like more to this than just adding lines and that's it. But oh well, I guess. Um, Oddly enough, as of this recording, I'm still uploading for the last video. So today is like uh, Thursday, and I recorded the rough sketch phase at like um I think at Monday or Tuesday. I'm not sure. That's not a lot. Just make sure. Okay, that's good. I should be careful with how I'm doing this. Oh well, it's a learning process. So I'll just add some random details. So like around here, around here. Unfortunately, I should have used the references more better, but oh well. I'm happy with how this turned out regardless. Regardless of how your artwork turns out, in the end, you should have fun with the art you're doing. Like, the term play with your food, I guess, comes to mind. Like, if you have a mistake, like what you see here, don't make a big deal out of it. Just have fun with it. It took me a long time to really accept my art or how chaotic my artwork is. It's kind of not easy. Plus, it's it's kind of difficult for me to try to make my line art not horrible, as you can see. But I guess it's like a unique thing. I guess I know it sounds like oh I'm just trying to find an excuse for me drawing bad, but I know I can't draw good. I know that. But I can't let that put me down. I have to learn that I have to have the will to improve myself. And along with the will to improve yourself, you should also have fun. Because what else are you going to do? Because if you messed up on an art and you just gonna spend like what, half an hour trying to improve it, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So instead of just like what I said, spending like a good while trying to improve on an artwork that's just horrible. Alright, just realized that, well, just whatever. Like, accept your mistakes and make the best of it. Art is also a form, drawing is also like a form of improvisation. You can't expect to draw what you want 100% of the time. You have to learn to be lenient, flexible. Be flexible and like whatever kind of mistake comes through, just learn to go with it. Learn to go with whatever mistake you see. Yes, um, working on an artwork that like you spent like what a week on until you realize, oh, I'm not making any progress. You have to have some semblance of saying, you know what, I'll just stop here. I'll throw the towel. And it's important. It's important to know that you are not having fun when you're drawing. Because the longer you are drawing and you're not having fun is, I think, just time wasted. And yes, I'm 100% sure I have messed up on this part a lot, but I just like how this turned out. This isn't the type of thing I draw a lot. I mean, in terms of like, in terms of drawing these super crown abominations. At this point, I'm just going with whatever. I was hoping to use a lot more of the equipment than I have, but oh well. It's a learning progress. I hope we're all at least enjoying me make a mess, or at least, taking hope. I hope that, learning something. Because it would be nice, like at least something in these videos have imparted some knowledge. Because, like I said, I want to eventually be able to um, teach, teach how to draw videos. I want to make these how to draw videos. It's, yeah, I'm kind of speechless here because I was kind of expecting, like, yeah, I was gonna do something great with these, but oh well. Maybe it's one of those things that I'm gonna revisit in the future. Who knows? Maybe when I'm like really, really good at drawing, or when I have better understanding of the fundamentals, I'll come back to this and draw these better. Honestly, I feel like I pulled off the poses. I'm really happy with how the poses look. Is my head coming out? No. Honestly, I feel like that's all. I was hoping that, I was going to do a lot more, but oh well. Uh, oh well. Um, I guess there's not much to it, and except to sign it. Usually when I sign, I use this specific pen. I use this specific nib head. It was like a gift, so I'm gonna use it for all of these signings. Let's hope that I don't mess up the signing, though. Hey, first try. Uh, I don't know. I might not post this. I might. I don't know. It's a mix of. I'm going through a mixture of feelings. It didn't turn out the way I wanted to. I kind of hoped that it would turn out better than this, but oh well. Anyway, at least I was able to produce this. Uh, thank you for watching this train wreck, I guess? This disaster. I hope you all stay safe. Remember, people, stay classy. Bye bye.